Hello, this is Sam Simon, also known as Dementia Man. This is my blog for the week of um, June 7th. We started this month as both a fundraiser for Dementia Man. We are a tax-exempt nonprofit um, organization with a fiscal sponsor called Fractured Atlas. You can go online and click donate and help us bring this story to everyone who needs to see it. Very busy. The good news for us is that we're getting really booked recently. We're going to be just today, got a booking in Arkansas and another booking in Northern Virginia where we live. Um, So I'm so delighted and excited and a little nervous because my health is not you know, as good as it might be. I've been trying to get on a new medicine. I don't remember if I've told any of you this yet, but I've had a known risk when taking the new medicine, some micro brain bleeds. I know it doesn't sound like my brain is bleeding, and it's not. It did a tiny bit micro. And so I'm having to take some speech therapy and do some recovery on that. But I'm doing well, and we're still booking and performing, and things are going really well in that regard. I talked about this being a month against, working against fraud and the like for people with cognitive impairment, for elder care, elder abuse month, and to avoid elder abuse. But I wanted to talk this month too about, in that regard, abuse includes fraud, and we talked about that. Um, a resource for you is my book. Because and I'm going to hold one, and you're not going to see it. I'm holding a copy in my hand. And in the book, we also put a list of organization groups that can be of help. It's really it's an urgent issue for those who are new, and then those who maybe not so new to being a caregiver or living with it, knowing where to go to get some help. There's some better known and lesser known places, and doing it with the view of knowing what's real and what's not real, what can help you and what can't help you, and how to avoid. So I'm going to share some personal information first to start it off. One of the first things that Susan and I did do is we went to our state attorney and said, Sam's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. What should we do now? And one of the very first things he did was to make sure that all our property, our house, our bank accounts, and like are in the name of my wife. I am able to sign checks with an account that doesn't have that much money in it. But because there's always a risk that I might suddenly change and do something silly. We've limited what I can commit us to and checks I can sign and that sort of thing. And that is important. That's almost like number one. And talking to your estate, and if you have a personal attorney, what sort of things do you need to do to keep you safe and make sure that um, you can keep living well and not be at risk for fraud or that sort of thing. And have family members and professionals that you can rely on. Watch out for new people popping onto the scene, all of a sudden saying, well, I've got a deal for you, or this is what you have to have. Make sure you have multiple voices. So some of that's in the book. You're looking at the book. But in the appendix of the book, I have a list of organizations and places in the government and nonprofits that can also be of help and can help your family stay safe. And share these resources. And if you know somebody, encourage them to look at sign up on our website to get the the podcast, but give them the link to this podcast. And I'm going to just read through a couple of them here. Um, and on the federal level, um, one's called ADEAR, ADEER, ADEAR, like dear, my dear, ADEAR, the Alzheimer's and Related Dementia Education Referral Center. And they provide good, solid medical style advice. They have an 800 number, and I'll give it to you for information. Um, their articles are about the symptoms, diagnosis, risk factors, home safety tips, and that's 800 438 4380. So that's one. The other is, believe it or not, I didn't even know this existed. I've said it before, but Alzheimer's.gov. How about them apples? Now, the federal government recently, has been not funding these kinds of things as much as they used to, but they're still there and they're still funded. Um, again, um, Alzheimer's.gov uses the same, um, well, the ADEAR that I just mentioned manages the Alzheimer's.gov website. So they're there, they're the same phone number and same way to get them. Now, of course, there is on the nonprofit side, the patient-based resources are available from the Alzheimer's Association. Um, some of you may be like me. I know they may not, if they're listening, they're not going to be that happy. But I get tired of them asking me for money all the time. But they do fund really big research. I had not known it as much as I do the last couple of years. They had a huge conference in I think it was Toronto, unveiling some of their newest research. So they do great research. But their helpline is 800 272 3900. And you can ask them almost any question, particularly around safety. Now they're thinking a little bit more locally. I had not known about 211. These are resources, a 211. Um, you can even go online. So if you lived in Virginia, go https://211virginia.org, and they have a lot of resources for aging and disability. So that's www.211.org, or if you can get one very specific to your state, and just dialing 211 will take you to somebody. Again, you want to find things that are local and state specific, and 211 is a really good way to do that. And again, all of this information is in the book. It's available. You can download it on your Kindle, or you can have it delivered to you. There's National Council of Dementia Minds, and they're a nonprofit group, and it's that have resources and programs. There's dementiaminds.org, and we'll be quick through some of these other ones. And there's Dementia Action Alliance, DAA, which is, I go to a lot of their online programs. They have workshops, 2 or 3 workshops a week, and I found them pretty good. They recently merged with something called the Eden Alternative, but now the website here is https://daanow.org. And I love going on to some of the resources, just talk to people like me with the disease. And there's some with caregiver. Then there's Dementia Society of America. They do all sorts of dementia, and it's 1-800-DEMENTIA is how you reach them. There's something called Reimagining Dementia. It's a bit of an advocacy group. Um, then one of my favorites. If you want to be into advocacy, it's called um, the Initiative to Change the D Word. That's where we're lobbying to get rid of, stop using dementia and start you calling out a cognitive disorder. I'm not crazy and saying. And then I'm working right now with something called Voices of Alzheimer's. Um, and www.voicesofad.com uh, is a website. And then they have a foundation called www.voa-foundation.org. What I like about Voices of Alzheimer's, and we worked on it literally today, we're going, these lanyards, I'm going to move over so you could hear me, but I think we've talked about well, the green lanyard that says I have a cognitive hidden disability, which are available at airports. We're working with Amtrak to try to persuade Amtrak to have them available too. And it's working really nice. And VAA is the group that's we're working with to make that happen. So these are resources to help you, to keep you away from fraud, to navigate a world that maybe you never thought you'd have to navigate. It's not intuitive. And in this elder, uh, this month to fight elder abuse and elder fraud, these kinds of resources are really helpful too. So um, this week, get a copy of the book. Also remember, it's our biannual fundraising month. If you give $50 or more, you'll get the book for free and you will help keep Dementia Man performing and working well. So thank you very much and take great care.